Hey there, future CPAs, and welcome to this video where we're going to be doing an inside look into the Surgent CPA review course, which is a really popular review course on the market right now. Now, my name is Vagner. I'm a CPA, PhD. I'm a former KPMG manager. I'm also a college professor, and I'm the founder of CPAexamsuccess.com, which is a website that is jam-packed full of tips and strategies to help you be successful on the CPA exam. Now, like I mentioned in this video, we're going through Surgent CPA review. So here in just 1 second, I'm going to be taking you inside the review course, and you're going to know exactly what Surgent CPA review has to offer. I'm going to point out all of the different attributes to you. With that being said, and before we dive into it, you should also take advantage of the free trial links that I have for you. So depending upon where you're watching this, if there's a description below, the links are going to be in the description. If you're on the website, it's going to be right below the video. So take advantage of that free trial access link. Really important because you want to test drive these out before you actually make the purchase. If you know that you want to make the purchase, I also work really hard to give you guys discounts. So I work with the CPA review course companies and try to get you the best discounts possible. So again, in the description, you should see a link to the discounts. And then also, if you're on the website, it should be right below this video. So with that being said, welcome guys. I'm so glad you're here for this video. And let's dive right into this review of Surgent CPA review. All right guys, so we're now going to do the walkthrough tutorial of Surgent CPA review. So you can see here, I'm on the first page that you're going to have access to when you log in. And it's going to ask you what you're going to be preparing for. We're going to be preparing for the CPA there, and then I've already got selected the audit section of the CPA. So you're just going to go ahead and select next within that, and then you're going to see here that it's going to give you a little bit of an overview of the Surgent method and how it adapts to you, and then they have an 89.7% pass rate, and then we're just going to go ahead and select next here. And okay, we're going to set up the study schedule. So what is your exam date? So I'm going to go ahead and just select about a month out or so. So 29 days until the exam. Go ahead and select next. And then select the days of the week that you plan to study. So I highly recommend that everybody study at least 6 days a week. And so the day that I like to take off is Saturday. So I'm going to go ahead and select every day except for Saturday. And so those are the days that I'm going to study. Go ahead and click next. And here we come to this page where Surgent CPA is saying, okay, it's time to begin your Surgent journey. And the one thing that I want to point out really quickly is how modern it looks. That's something that Surgent CPA review put a lot of time and effort into. They know that user experience is really important. They know that you're sitting down with these courses for hours every day, and they want to make sure that you're comfortable working within them. So as we move through the review, you'll notice how modern everything looks. So the first thing that you're going to notice here is that they talk about the assessment. And so that's one thing that sets Surgent apart from a lot of the other CPA review providers is that they have this massive initial assessment that you're going to go through for them to figure out what your weaknesses and your strengths are. And so that is what allows Surgent to put you on this tailored or customized path from the beginning. And that's really important. There are some CPA review course companies that will say they're adaptive, but they only give you 15 or 20 or just very little, regardless of how many, very little assessment questions in the beginning, and they may make recommendations of what your strengths are and your weaknesses are, but they don't necessarily put you on this customized path, and they didn't necessarily give you a lot of assessment questions in the beginning. Surgent CPA review knows that you need to go through a substantial amount of questions for them to make an accurate assessment of what your strengths and your weaknesses are. So once they make this assessment, then you're given practice questions. And so that's you'll see here we'll move down into this study phase. So they're going to give you practice questions for the topic areas that you need to concentrate in. So again, it's very tailored and specific to you. So if you have a friend that also purchased Surgent CPA review, they might not be working the same questions that you're working because it's a custom path based upon your knowledge and your assessment that they did. So once you move through the study phase, then you'll move into the study and simulation phase. So once you've worked a certain amount of practice questions and the system recognizes that you're getting good, you're then going to move into this phase where it also includes simulations. And then, of course, as you move closer to your test date, you'll obviously hit practice questions really hard as well. And so this is definitely different than other CPA review courses. Notice that you didn't see anything in here related to lectures. Now, Surgent CPA review, they have video lectures. Don't get me wrong there, but it's not they're not having you watch lectures in the beginning and then go through and work questions. They're trying to get you on this custom path, working questions, and then when you need help, they're going to point you in the direction of lectures. So that's really an important aspect of Surgent CPA review to keep in mind. So all right, so now that we've gone over that page, let's go. All right, so here we go. So this is the first phase that we talked about in that last page. It's your assessment. And you can see here that you've got 450 questions that you have to go through. Surgent makes you go through this. It's a really important part of their process. It's they're analyzing your knowledge, and after this assessment, like we talked about, they're going to know where to start you on your customized path. So this assessment page is really key. So what you're going to do is you're just going to go here and you're going to hit. So here's the screen that you're going to see as you move through the assessment. So for question 1 here, you can see that I selected the first option there. And so I went ahead and selected it, and it was correct. You'll see over here on the right hand side where it says correct, and then it gives you a little bit of an explanation there. But then as you scroll down, you can see that you have links to other resources. So you've got video links, and I'll click on that here in a second. You've got other relevant terms there that you could click on and take you to those as well. And then you've got references down here. So if you click on references, for example, you can click and you'll get added information there that you can go ahead and review if you want to. But if you were to get this incorrect, for example, you could come up here to the video links, and you could click on either here analytics or perform overall analytic procedures, and you could click on that link and it'll take you to your video lectures. So again, they're not having you go ahead and pause that. So again, they're not having you watch these lecture videos before you answer these questions, but if you do get them incorrect, you can then click in within these videos and you can watch. So that's really important, and it helps you move through this review course quicker. And that's one thing that Surgent CPA Review really takes advantage of is not putting you in front of these lecture videos before they've had a chance to assess you and then have you work through practice questions and really figure out where it is that you might actually really need to watch lecture videos. So just wanted to point this out. This is a really good screen to kind of give you a depiction of what it is you're going to be seeing as you move through the review course. Alright guys, so I've now gone through the 450 question assessment that you have to do before you can gain access to the actual course itself. So that's, like I've mentioned, a huge thing for Surgent is that they really have to evaluate in the beginning to be able to put you on these customized paths. So with that being said, 450 questions, it is a lot of questions, but it's something that you have to look at like an investment. You are going to put a lot in up front, and you hope that you're going to get returns in the future. And that's exactly what this assessment is. It is going to take you a little while to move through, but when you're done with it, Surgent CPA Review is going to have a very clear depiction of your knowledge base in each one of these individual topic areas, like auditing, for example. So 450 questions is a lot of questions to move through. I've already taken the CPA exam, and so I kind of figured out a way around it so I didn't have to sit there and answer 450 technical questions. So essentially I just went in and selected A. Well, let me back up just a smidge. So when you go through and you do this assessment, they're going to be in 45 question blocks. So you're going to get 10 45 question blocks, which makes it very nice because you can break it up and you can do a couple a day, and you can easily move through those. So in order for me to be able to move through the 450 questions quickly to show you guys the rest of the course, I went in and selected A, and then essentially for the first question of the 45, and then went in and just skipped all of the other ones. So that enabled me to move through it really quickly. So as we move down this screen, you're going to see my results. Well, it's reflective of me essentially skipping about 425 questions. But it's going to give you guys a really good idea of what your view is going to be after you take that assessment. So you're looking here at the screen, it's your daily surge. So what this is on a daily basis, Surgent puts you on this customized path. So you can see here over on the left, you've got your study session. And so it wants you to start a question practice session. And you can choose whether or not you want that to be 10 questions, 30 questions, or 50 questions. And when you click on each of these and you begin that question series, it's going to look very similar to what that assessment screen looked like. So very big. The question is very much in your face. It's not small, so it makes it very nice and easy to move through. I'll actually just go ahead and click on it and show you guys what that looks like. So we're going to click on a 10 question study session. So you open it up. Here's your question. You would go ahead and select your answer. So let's just go ahead and select A haphazardly and go down here and hit submit. And so when you do that, you can see very similar to the assessment. Over here on the right, it's going to tell you whether or not you got it correct or incorrect. It's us just haphazardly selecting A, it was incorrect. But you can see here over on the right-hand side, they give you a lot of background into that particular answer in question. And then very similar to the assessment, you can see if you scroll down, you've got the different video links. So if this is something that you think you would like to watch a video on, then you just go ahead and click this video link over here on the right, and it'll take you to the appropriate video for that particular topic area. And then of course you've got relevant terms that are related to each one of these questions, and so you can click on those to get more information there. And then you've also got references, again very similar to the assessment that you went through, where if you click on it here, it brings up information that you can read through related to the question. So very easy to use, that is for sure. So let's actually let's go back. Okay, so now that we're back on the daily surge, so again, you move through those practice questions over here on the left-hand side, then you move over to watching video lectures. So again, this is all based upon your weaknesses and your strengths that Surgent CPA Review has analyzed through your assessment. They're sending you videos that you should watch based upon that assessment. They're not sending you videos that you're really highly proficient in. So there are going to be things that you're weak in. So you can see here, this is the internal audit function. So what you can do is you can skip it. You can certainly do that. Down here on the left, you can see where you can hit skip, or you can go over here on the right where you've got the play button, click play, and it's going to bring up that video session. So here it is. So this is how all of your videos are going to be structured. So you're going to have the instructor over there on the left-hand side. They're going to be doing the instruction, and then you have the slide decks over on the right, and you can see you've got the main slide deck, or the main slide that she's on right now, and then you've got all of the slides there underneath. And it is very easy to view these lectures this way. So you're obviously getting the expert advice in the video, and you can see her, and she's going to keep you motivated. It's not like you've just got a slide deck and somebody is overlaying voice over it. So you actually get to see the instructor, which is a really good thing. But then to have these slides is also really important, and to have all of these various different functions. You can speed it up, so that's a big thing to consider when you're trying to figure out which prep course is for you. So not everybody has to go at just your regular voice speed. You can speed this up, so you can 2x it, 3x it, and you can move through it even that much faster. So Surgent CPA Review is already built for speed, based upon their adaptive learning technology to have you focus on your weak areas, and they're not making you watch all these lecture videos before you work through practice problems. In addition to that, you can speed these up. So that is something that I really like about this review course. So that just shows you the video that you're going to go through on your daily surge, or what it's going to look like. So then if we go back to the dashboard, you then also, they're going to give you references to read. So let's just go ahead and click on this first reference here, this 3230.12, and when we do that, it's going to take you over to this reference document. So you can see here CPA Review Textbook, Surgent CPA Review, and then it's the auditing and attestation sections 3000 through 3400. And so then essentially what you would do is you'd find your area that you need to study. So they gave you, let's go back over to the dashboard really quickly. So 3230.12. So let's just do a control find. So 3230.12. Okay, there you go. So you do a control find, and it very quickly takes you to the 3230.12 section, which is right here. So they're telling you that you should read through this particular area along with 3335.12 and then also 3343.01 and then this last one there. So you're going to find each one of those within this reference material, and you're going to read through it because that is an identified weak area of yours. And so it's just strengthening that topic area for you. And again, this one in particular would be identifying controls relevant to reliable financial reporting. So a very tailored approach, taking you to exactly the material that you need to study based upon your assessment. So this would be your daily search. Now, in addition to that, you can see down here, you've got a dashboard, so to speak. That's exactly what this is. And you can see over here on the top right hand corner, so we have gone through 537 questions of the 1,570 total questions for the auditing section. So through that assessment that I was telling you about that I took, keep in mind, like I mentioned, I was just essentially skipping questions so that I could unlock this course, so that I could show you guys exactly what it looks like once you've finish the assessment and you're in the actual course. So that kind of gives you a depiction of how many questions you've answered, and then it also gives you some stats, how many hours you've studied, what your trending score is, how much you need to study each day to keep you on track to the day that you're taking the exam. Because remember, in the beginning you selected when your exam is, and so when we did that I had 29 days, and I also selected what my study schedule was going to be in terms of how many days per week and exactly what days I would be studying. And so for me, and what I recommend to my students is 6 days a week. Always take a day off if you can. So 6 days a week, Sunday through Friday. And based upon that and my initial assessment and how well I did, now keep in mind I was skipping basically all of those questions to get you guys to this unlocked portion of the course. So for somebody who wasn't answering questions, with 29 days to go, it'd be about 6 hours a day. But that could be completely different for you if you're somebody who moves through there and you're actually answering the questions and you're getting a good majority of them correct. That daily study time could be drastically reduced. So keep that in mind, and that's something to keep your eye on. So it's a very nice dashboard to give you an idea of what you have to do on a daily basis to keep yourself on track, and that is really important. So then you got over here on the left-hand side all the different areas. You've got your ethics, professional responsibilities, and general principles. You've also got assessing risk and developing a planned response. And you've got performing further procedures and obtaining evidence. And then this final is forming conclusions and reporting. So within each one of those, you can go ahead and you can watch videos or you could study, and this is a really neat tool. So let's just go ahead and click on study here. So when you do that, you've got some options. You have a session type and duration. So what do you want to do? Do you want to answer questions? Do you want to do simulations? So you can select that within here based upon what your specific needs are, how much time you have. So let's just go ahead and select, for example, 25 questions. Then, and this is where their software is really intuitive, you can come over here and again, adaptive learning is Surgent CPA reviews. That's their secret sauce, right? So you can leave it on adaptive, and that means that it's going to continually adapt to your weaknesses and strengths. Or what you can do is you can say you want to see all new questions. So questions that are new. You can also see least seen, or you can do least seen. So the questions that you haven't seen that much, and keep in mind, that's kind of based upon your practice question sessions. Because through your assessment, you're going to have your strong areas, and Surgent's not going to focus you on your strong areas. So over the course of, say, 500 questions, maybe you're not seeing certain ones from your strong areas, and so those then would be your least seen. You can also do trouble questions, so questions that you continually struggle with. So that's a really big one. If I was, moving through and taking this course, I'd be hitting my trouble questions a lot, and I talk about that, through my strategies, that I talk about on the website and in my blog. But hitting those trouble questions and knowing how much you should hit those trouble questions is a big thing. And then you can also look at missed last time. So the last time you went through your practice sessions, the specific ones that you had missed that last specific time. So these are all things that are wonderful for you in terms of being able to really have a tailored approach and have control over what it is that you're studying. And when I went through and did the CPA review course, I was largely doing a lot of this manually. I was keeping, yes, there was, it's sort of an automated, component to it, but I was keeping track of certain things on my own and making sure I was going back and hitting certain questions. And so it's just really nice how Surgent CPA Review has this laid out. And then, of course, once you have that selected, you just go ahead and hit begin session. So that is really, really nice just to be able to hit that within each one of these sections. And then, hopefully you'll build confidence for each one of those sections. And then, of course, down here, you've got your simulations. So it says here, click on a simulation box below to begin. So each one of these, you just kind of you can work your way through and you can practice all these different simulations. And notice that there's quite a few of them. So it's definitely important that you keep on pace with your review studies, because you do have a lot to move through as you go through, not just with Surgent, but with any CPA review course if you were to do it. So that's kind of a high level depiction, not really a high level, it's very detailed depiction of what your daily surge is going to look like. And again, this is kind of the main dashboard that you're going to be working within on a daily basis. And so it's again really important that you feel comfortable with the review course that you purchase. And design wise, I have to say that I really like this. It's very simplistic, but it's also very modern. And the dashboard just gets straight to the point. And when you're working through those questions, over on the right hand side, it gets straight to the point in terms of why a question is incorrect or why it's correct, and it gives you the lecture videos that you can go to, and it also then gives you those reference documentations that you can go to as well. So all right, guys, so I want to look at another feature here. There's a couple more things I want to look at really quickly. So on your daily surge, if you look up in the right-hand corner, you can see a person that's holding what looks to be like a book. If you click on that, you can access your progress report. And once you're on the progress report, you're going to see up in the top that you've got a very similar high-level look at how many questions you've answered, how many days left to your exam, hours studied, very similar to what you have on the dashboard. But then as you scroll down, you get into the detailed report, and you can look at each individual main topic area within the overall auditing section. And so you can see here the first one is ethics, professional responsibilities, and general principles. And within that, you've got all these subsections like nature and scope, ethics, independence, and professional conduct, terms of engagement, and so forth. And you can even scroll down a little bit further and you'll see the next major section within auditing, which is assessing risk and developing a planned response. Now, when you look at this, you're saying, well, how can I use this information? So it's very useful because you're drilling down into the individual topic areas. And so you're going to be able to assess and look at, what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses. The whole adaptive learning, it's doing it for you, putting you on that daily surge path. But it's just very nice to be able to go into these detailed reports and see things at a high level. One very important thing that I want to point out here is the total time feature over here on the right. So if you're scrolling down and you see that you're answering 100%, let's say for some individual subsection, but it's taking you 10 minutes to answer each one of those questions, well, that's problematic. You don't have 10 minutes per question when you get to the actual exam. You need to be answering those questions relatively quickly. And so that is something that you should really be paying attention to. That should be a red flag for you, and you should mark that it's taking you a long time to answer those questions related to that individual subsection. So you get a lot of useful information out of these detailed reports. Now if we go back, I also want to show you inside of a simulation. Well, actually, before we do that, let's pop back up here and let's also go ahead and click on this session results log. So you've also got this other view that you can go in. So if you wanted to, you could evaluate your individual sessions. So you can look and you can see, what particular day you had worked through questions, and you can go in and you can evaluate and you can view. So that's just another feature that's available to you. We'll also really quickly go ahead and click on glossary here. So this is one thing that Surgent has available to you is if you need to look up a term, so if you're moving through your review and you read a term that you're just not familiar with, you can click on that glossary, which was up in the upper right hand corner, and if you just click on any of these terms down the left hand side, let's say you need a term or you come across a term and it starts with the letter L. So you click on L up here on the top, and then let's say that term was letter of inquiry, and so you just weren't quite sure, so then you click on it and there you go, there it is for you. So very nice and easy to access that glossary. So let's go back, and I want to take you to the simulation. So let's just go ahead and click on one of these simulations and just kind of show you what it's going to look like here within. So for the auditing, your simulations definitely don't look anything like what they're going to look like for the financial section. Just completely different. Not completely different, but definitely different in how you're answering these questions and so forth. So you can see here, you've got a general question, and the simulation is just different from the multiple choice, but you can see here for each one of these, you're going to have to click on over here within the answer key, and you're going to have to make your choice. So it's either going to be a yes or no for this particular simulation. You would select it and then just go ahead and put choose, and then there you go, and you'd work through each one of these. You also can see over here in the top, you've also got the ability to click on that authoritative literature. So let's say, for example, you're looking for control risk. So you go ahead and type in control risk. There you go. So you have searched within the literature and found the term control risk. So very easy to do, very easy to navigate, and then that's something that you've got available to you. So let's go ahead and exit that section. Yes, get back to our dashboard here. All right, guys, so that's basically the Surgent CPA review course. There are a lot of things that I really, really like about Surgent CPA review. Obviously, one is the adaptive learning technology. They are, definitely one of the market leaders with regards to adaptive learning technology. They really take it to the next level. They're giving you a 450 question initial assessment and then putting you on these customized paths. That to me is really something that I would pay attention to if I was choosing a CPA review course to take. I think being put on a custom path and not having to watch lecture videos that I'm already strong in is really important. It's what helps you move through the review quickly. Surgent CPA touts that you can move through their CPA review course 50% faster than some of the other review courses out there, and that's a lot of time. So I really highly encourage you to think about that aspect, as you think about Surgent CPA review as a possibility for your CPA review. Another thing, to point out is that in the majority of these CPA review courses, they're using the same questions. So they're licensing questions from the AICPA. Surgent CPA review, I believe, has right around 6,800 questions, which in my opinion is plenty to get you through the CPA exam in terms of your practice. They also have just shy of 300 simulations, which again is plenty. I really like the fact that they just get straight to the point, and they're not having you watch lecture videos before you move through and you work through practice questions, because let's face it, a lot of you guys are really strong in certain areas, and you don't necessarily need to sit through, say, 20 hours of lecture. You can move through practice questions and get an idea for how well it is you're doing, and then hit lecture videos if you need to. I really like how the course is designed, how it's laid out, how up here at the top you have your daily surge. It's very easy. You know what you need to do for the day. They also keep giving you the high-level data points, and it just keeps you moving towards your goal. They also tout an 89.7% pass rate, so keep that in mind, something to really consider. The other thing that I was going to point out, if you're interested in Surgent CPA review, I highly recommend that you jump in and do one of their free trials. That to me is really important when you're trying to figure out what CPA review course to choose, because they are expensive and you want to make sure that you're getting in one that you're really going to like. So if you're interested in a free trial, depending upon where you're watching this video, there should be a link below for a free trial. Definitely use that to your advantage. Take advantage of that. If you're somewhere where there is not a link below, then head on over to my website, cpaexamsuccess.com, and within the main review page where I compare each one of the prep courses,
you'll find a link to a free trial there for Surgent, and I highly recommend that you check that out. Also, I typically have discount codes on that page, and so if you're interested in going ahead and purchasing Surgent CPA Review, you can usually get a really good discount. And so again, just head on over to the website at cpaexamsuccess.com, go to that main comparison page of all the review courses, and you can find that there. So with that being said, thanks a lot, guys. I hope you got a lot out of this and you learned about Surgent CPA Review. If you have any questions, just feel free to reach out. If you want tips and strategies on the CPA exam, head on over to my website. Otherwise, best of luck to you guys.